Everything's vibrating
He's
and
late,
nothing's
isn't he?
answering.
He's
Just
frickin' late.
answer,
He's
headphones.
He's forgotten we do this
Hello?
at 10 a.m. Oh, hello. There you are.
Oh, dude, everything was vibrating. Nothing was answering. I was like, answer, answer.
Well, that's what happens when you wear Lycra.
I'm out of Lycra now. You'll not believe what happened today.
You got shat on by a frog.
No, the Sennheiser MKII 600 ran out of battery.
No.
Legit, the red light's on.
Oh, is
So
it
there
on
you go.
permanently?
Yeah, that's it on
Actually, I think
permanently.
when it's on permanently, it still has 10 hours left.
Really?
I seem to remember reading that in the instructions. Yeah,
Well-
because when you flick it on normally, like, and the red light just comes on, that means it's all fine. And when you turn it on and it's on for a little bit longer, you're down to, like, I don't know, 50 hours. Mm-hmm. And then when it's on permanently, it's like, yeah, you should charge it, but you still got about 8 to 10 hours, I think.
Well, there you go. But that's not bad, considering that was one battery and it's done about 15 episodes.
I think they do 300 hours. That's what they say.
It's mad, isn't it?
It is mad, yeah. But it's that time when you go, oh, I don't need to charge it, and you have that one special job, and you're like, no, this is the job.
Yeah.
This is it. I'm doing this for, like, Sky or Vans or someone like that. And it's like, just switch on the mic, Dill.
Yeah.
Oh, it's out of
Sorry,
battery.
guys. Sorry, guys. My single AA battery has gone flat. It's fine.
It was working fine last week,
Yeah.
you know?
And now there's nothing. So I literally hit record and then realized it wasn't working. So I had to switch.
Are you on the...
I had to switch. No, I switched to the 600, the 400 or 440.
Oh,
That we,
I see.
Whatever. No, 400. 440 is the double stereo, isn't it?
I don't know, the one
Well,
that
I don't think it's a double stereo.
A sex toy.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, that's pretty horrible. Anyway, we're episode 41.
We're
I
back,
think this
yeah.
is where we are.
This is it, we
Our
are.
apologies for episode 39, by the way. That was all Dylan's fault. And
Excuse
apologies
me.
for us not knowing how to use stories or knowing when each other have put up a story.
Yeah. For the record, Ryan cocked that up. It was great. I was so good. Do you know how much enjoyment I got being able to phone him and then just go, excuse me, fella, do us a favor. Gonna need you to export out the entire episode, if you don't mind. And he was like, what? And then I could hear him thinking of all these reasons why it was probably my fault. Are you? It's your fault, Ryan. All right. Let's not play the blame game, but it was Ryan's fault. It was very funny because my mum phoned me actually, and she was like, "You know, your latest episode just stops at 7 minutes," and I was like, oh, "Classic
What?
boomer." I was like, "Classic boomer." Hasn't got a clue what she's doing. I was like, what do you mean?
Blame your mum.
What do you mean it stops at 7 minutes, love? And she's like, we were just watching. You're talking about bananas in porridge, and then it just stops at 7 minutes, and a picture of your faces comes up. And I'm like, what are you watching it on? She's like, watching it on YouTube. I'm like, right. Are you sure that Playhead hasn't just stopped? Are you sure it hasn't just, it's not buffering? You know, like, she's like, no,
You know what
it's definitely not working, Dylan. And I was like, here, let me go and have a look. I'll give. And then I looked and I was like, oh no, we fucked it.
What I really appreciate is that you were absolutely dead certain that it was your mum's fault.
Yeah. I was like,
It was
it must be
it
user
can't
error.
have been me or Ryan.
Yeah.
Not possible.
Yeah. I'll tell you what we don't
We're
need.
amazing and perfect. It
Some
must be you,
60-year-old
Mum.
lady who has no idea about video production telling us how to do our shit. It turns out she was totally right. Bang on. So shout out,
Yeah.
Mum, for
Yeah.
being our quality control. I think we should just fire every
absolutely.
episode over to her and say, just make sure this is the right length, would you?
It's weird though.
Ridiculous.
I don't know how it happened. I think my Final Cut's actually been playing up recently.
Don't blame Final Cut, right?
No, because the audio one went out fine.
Yeah, but that's an extra. It's a different export.
Yeah, but I do one after the other.
Listen, right?
So I'm just
It's a
saying
saying, right?
that it's a
It's-
weird
it
thing.
goes,
I don't think it's
A bad workman blames his tools, right? Right?
Yeah,
Think about
I should
that.
have
Just
used
let-
Premiere.
Yeah,
No, I don't.
It would still be exporting.
We couldn't do daily with Premiere.
No,
I'll be honest.
but if we did, we could do that thing that everyone who edits on Premiere does, where you get to post a photo of your timeline and go, only 5 hours till the video's rendered. Results.
Yeah. Look, we've got like 400 tracks. Like, there's a track for each second that Dylan and I sigh. You know.
Sidetrack. Oh, Sidetrack. That could be a feature of this podcast show going forward, because we were talking about breaking this into some features. Sidetrack. So it's like we go off on a side track, but it's like something that's annoyed us. Sidetrack.
But we kind of do that anyway.
Yeah,
that's
but that
like
could
a
be a thing.
consistent feature.
But that could be a thing, an actual thing that we actually like sidetrack. And you could be like, so I was at the post office today, and this woman annoyed me. Well, we'll make a jingle for it.
Office was
We'll make a jingle.
Oh, I can't wait till we make jingles.
I know. That's literally the only reason I wanted to do anything on the internet, just to make jingles.
Yeah. And I want to have, little buttons where when you say something, it just makes a noise. Or, you put...
Shattering glass. And then...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I have that jingle.
Brilliant.
I have my own like end outro jingle thing saved on my phone. For
yeah.
But then I also have one for David Sorscape's drone show. The like the 1970s like outro style. It's just sitting there every time I see him, so I can do. What is it? I forgot what it's called. Don't know. Drone
A Sting.
Show. Yeah. No, the show I gave him a name for the show, but can't remember what it was.
Oh, you've forgotten it. No, it doesn't matter. Well, it got cancelled when coronavirus came along. That show doesn't happen anymore. Oh, talking of coronavirus, I have a question for you.
As long as it doesn't send us into a spiral of negativity. Go on.
Well, okay. Well,
he hasn't got a question then. No, go on. We'll make light.
So I had it's an interesting thing. I'd like to hear your opinion on it. So one of the ways they're planning on dealing with COVID-19 in the UK is the NHS are currently working with Apple and Google to create an app. Mm-hmm. So basically, everyone will have the app, and then when you get symptoms of the virus or you have it, you then mark yourself as having it. And then it will send out notifications anonymously to everyone else who has the app. And so basically you'll find out if you've been in touch with someone or with someone relatively recently that has it, then you'll know that you've been in contact with someone that's had it. So you don't get a name, but you still like... it'll tell you who you've been in contact with, as in like someone recently within the last 4 days. Now, that all seems fine and good and everything, but apparently in order to make this work, the government have to bypass or have to get Apple and Google to bypass all the privacy restrictions that they initially put into apps that make this possible. So basically, they will be tracking us 24 hours a day, even when the app's not working via Bluetooth.
Oh, well, we're okay then.
So...
Because it's Bluetooth. It's just going to fucking fail at some point.
Yeah. That's... in theory, it won't matter.
Our phones will just be disconnecting and connecting to everything randomly. Connected to a lamppost. Yeah. Connected to the grass. What is happening? Don't worry. Apple, here. Just don't worry about it. It's bugging.
Yeah. So, but what's interesting, though, is that in order to have this app happen... They say, where is it here? I've got the article. Although any such software may be considered invasive to privacy, the pandemic presents a unique context in which data protection rules may be bent to serve the wider public interest. During these unprecedented times, data protection law can work flexibly to protect lives and data. So basically, the government had all these privacy laws put in place, and we're having a right go at Apple and Google saying, you can't do this, you can't do this. And now they're actually asking Apple and Google to remove all those privacy things so they can make their app.
I was there in the first place, wasn't it? Lads, you need to tighten up on these rules. Lads, relax those rules a bit.
Yeah, because we need data. Now, in theory, personally, I think, that's actually a really great idea. But the problem I have is that when this is all over... who has that data? And they say all that nonsense about we won't keep it any longer than we need to, whatever. And it's like, but we've just opened up our phones to the government for like full-on Big Brother tracking. And they can say as much as they want, we'll turn it off. Now, I personally, as and when, if this app comes out, I will not have it on my phone. Yeah. For that reason. Yeah.
I mean, okay.
I mean, do you agree, disagree? What do you think? I just thought it was an interesting
I'm not really
privacy.
a big... I don't know what the word is. I don't have a big issue with the whole privacy thing. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, ooh, they're listening to us, you know? I'm like, Alexa, listen all fucking day if you make my life easier. But you currently don't. You're more of a pain in the ass than anything else. Yeah. But I think I think if you're if you're worried about, okay, this is just a very blanket comment here, all right?
Oh, I like this.
If you're worried about your privacy, for the majority of us, if we're super worried about our privacy in that respect, something sketchy must be happening, or something you're not totally happy with, because it's like, I think this idea of privacy is like, there's a large part of me just believes it's like we're all overvaluing ourselves a little bit, you know. Oh, I don't want them to know that. Oh, I had salad for like, who cares? So they know where you live. It, like, I mean, I'm not doing anything illegal, so you know, apart from throwing a frisbee in a park. But it's like,
they'll find you on Bluetooth. The Bluetooth will be attached to your frisbee, and it's like, okay, 10-4, go get those bastards and his family.
You'll get an alarm
Take
warning.
them out.
Would you please vacate the park? Take your frisbee with you. But then I also understand the privacy bit when it comes to like bank details. So,
but that's the thing is with
like,
bank details. If like everyone gets funny about like privacy, but it's like if you have if you bank online, they know everything about you anyway.
Yeah. No, I know, but I mean, it's other people getting hold of your bank details. I understand that side of it. I think that's the
problem, yeah.
And that bit is kind of scary.
Do you know what is scary? Is that because I did a series on cybersecurity, and we did a whole bunch of interviews with like ex-hackers that are now working with like cybersecurity, like top of their game. They do stuff with the government and everything. And basically, the internet is still like the Wild West. It's like no one has any control over anything. Yeah. And so all you can really do now is get internet insurance. And so what happens? They were telling us these. Well, sorry. Basically, it's like
remember when we were talking about you giving context a bit more to when you.
Sorry. Everything in my brain. Right. Okay. So basically, as a company, you can get insurance. So if your data gets stolen, you can then this insurance company will then contact or be in contact with the cyber criminals, and generally what happens is that they will go, well, we've got all your data, we're going to delete it all unless you give us £500,000. And a lot of the companies they go for, they don't earn that a year. You know, they're really small companies, so they'll have this insurance for this, like Hiscox, for example, and they will go in and they will negotiate with the cyber criminals. And basically what they end up doing is going, okay, we're not giving you 500. I'll tell you what, we'll give you 85, or they'll basically offer them an amount just to go away. Yeah. But there's no repercussion beyond that. So, because of their finding, like the chances of finding a cyber criminal is like, it's literally impossible. They go, he could be in Serbia somewhere, probably Nigeria. We don't know. And then even if you find out where they are, you have no jurisdiction within that country to go and get them. And police, they told me, they said police won't get out of bed for less than £500,000 in terms of cybercrime.
Sorry.
So it has to be,
that comment,
that's what, you know what I mean?
That comment on its own as a quote. We'll stick that up on one post. Ryan say, 2020, police won't get out of bed for less than £500,000.
Yeah, pretty
no
much.
wonder. No wonder there's so much crime. Police won't get out of bed.
And they were saying, they were saying that in because you know when you get those emails from that guy in Nigeria, who knows a Nigerian king, goes, if you give me your bank details. Now they are actually like they've set up offices in Africa and Nigeria and places like that where people go to work every day as if they're going to the office, and they send out hundreds of thousands of these emails every day, trying to scam people, and they pay them. I
still can't believe there's someone getting caught out by that though.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing. But the thing is, what they're saying is that to them, because of the way they have all the algorithms and all the programming working, it's not actually much effort for them to send out 100,000 emails. Like when they have all those people working there, because it used to be you'd have to go down every street and go, oh, which grandma can I sell this dodgy Hoover to? Yeah. You know, when you walk around and try and scam people. Now, like, they just send out hundreds of thousands of emails every day.
What I don't get with that, if you're putting in that much effort, right, into scamming it, just put that much effort into doing something legit. Because it's like, unless every email was bringing in 100K, what's the point, lads?
Yeah, but then you've got to look at like where you're. I mean, how much are people like office workers, let's call them, in Nigeria getting on a daily basis, like wage wise? I can tell you, it's probably less than UK minimum wage.
Yeah, potentially. And don't get
but that isn't it. But it's like a whole industry out there. Apparently, It's mental. Yeah.
It is madness. So like the security side of it,
yeah.
I've never really been okay, now I am. No. I've never I don't know, I've never it depends what it is. When it comes to bank details, yes. My mother, I swear to God, she should be a feature on this podcast. She has a plaster over the camera on her iPad.
Yeah, so do I.
And I'm like,
not on my iPad. Not on her iPad.
I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Mom? Why have you got a plaster over that camera? Now, admittedly, I'm pretty sure I do have one over my iMac.
I have it over my MacBook.
I have them over anything I wouldn't use for video chats. But if you need video chat, then you put a plaster over it. But it's just, I remember, like, saying to her, like, why do you have freaking, like, things over your cameras? And she was like, don't want people watching me when I'm using my iPad. And I was like, okay, I get that. I understand that. But no one's, so they patch into your camera and they go, here, guys, we're in. Oh, it's just some old lady. What's she doing? Reading the news. Oh, she's sitting on the loo. I can see her kneecaps. Brilliant. Will we crack on somewhere else? Yeah. Go on. It's like, it's not like they've tapped into Bill Gates's flipping iPad. They're like, oh, it worked it all out. But
that's the thing. This is what they do. This is why I have those guys in the office in Nigeria. Is because they do it en masse. Because they'll get hold of your mum's computer. They'll look and go, oh, it's a granny doing nothing. But they'll wait until your dad walks in the room, and your mum slaps him around the face for some reason. And then they go, excuse me, Catherine, we saw that. Unless you give us £50,000, we're gonna let the world know. Yeah. So they're just waiting for you to do something dodgy. And the thing is, there's plenty. But I agree with you because I'm not so fussed about the privacy thing. I don't see the necessity to have for them to know where you are, because it's one of those things where it's really convenient. Like when you like say you have an app like what's that thing called, like Foursquare or Yelp or something, and or Google even, you go like you said the other day, you get to
look at that one you use,
take
Waze.
Me to traffic one. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And see, that's amazing, but at the same time it knows exactly where you are, where you're going, who you've seen, everything.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary, but at the same time it's a great app because it's people working together to go, oh, you can go somewhere else because there's police this direction, or there's been an accident, or there's roadworks. In theory it works really well, but it's still pretty scary.
Do you not think it's hard though, like an all or nothing kind of attitude with that sort of stuff? Because it's like you can't really benefit from all the apps. If all the apps, you can't really benefit from them unless all the apps all the time, unless you just forego and give in. Like, for example, I would love the option on my computer, like I could just go to my preferences and just have automatically accept all cookies.
Oh, I would love that.
Because I think, remember years ago, like people used, like when we were kids, before the internets and interwebs, people used to say, I used to hear my dad say things like, if I could tally up the amount of time I've spent sitting behind a red traffic light, I'd be sickened to see how much of my life has been wasted. And I'm like, if I could see how much time I've spent in my life clicking accept cookies, I reckon it would overshadow, it would just like kill the red light thing. Because every day I'm like, yeah. And I get it if you're like, if it's a really weird website, all right? If you've gone onto some weird sharing website or like Reddit, or you're on one of those, or like a forum or a blog, but when you just go to like Halifax online and it goes, please read our cookies thing, like you're the bank.
No, I don't want to read your cookies.
I'm just like, okay, accept cookies, because it's like when you get to a website where you're like, option 1 is I can't use your services, because that's the thing, they put it up there and they go, accept our cookies, yes or no, and no means you basically can't use the site. And yes means you can use the site. It's like, well, you're my bank and I need to use you. So just please, for the love of God, can we accept cookies?
Yeah. But see, that's a strange thing though, because you're right. Is it an all or nothing thing? Because it's the same with being filmed. Like I went to this, it's called Creative Mornings in London, and it's free, so you can go along and they have like coffee and donuts. You'd love it. And then there's a talk. And they had this like a musician do like a thing first, and then they have a talk about whatever it is about, whatever creative stuff. So I went along, and then you had to book a ticket. Obviously it's first come first serve, but it says quite clearly at the bottom, it says this event will be filmed. If you don't want to be filmed, please give up your ticket for someone else.
Oh, really?
So basically, yeah. So basically, it's saying we're filming this event. If you're not happy with being filmed, do one. Basically,
which is a great
and it was
sign.
interesting, which is great. I like that because it drives me nuts. The whole, what's
GDPR.
it called? GDPR. And then I was working with someone else recently, and they said, I was telling them about this, and they said, oh, we can't do that because they have a whole bunch of clients and investors and stuff that come to their event. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, why don't you just say, look, we're filming it. If you don't like it, do one. He said, no, because they're kind of required to come to the event. So we can't put them into a situation where they're not allowed, where we're basically forcing them into going, well, if you want to come and enjoy our product and enjoy our thing, you have to be filmed. Yeah. You have to be okay with that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's weird. So what they do, this is brilliant, which is kind of worse, in my opinion. They, when you turn up and you don't want to be filmed, you have to wear a big yellow fluorescent sticker. Yeah. And then the camera guy and film crew are also wearing these big yellow fluorescent stickers. And basically the idea is they just have to avoid each other all day.
Yeah, yeah.
But to me, it's like if I walked in and said, I don't want to be filmed, and then you make me wear a fluorescent jacket, I'd feel worse. I'd just say, film me.
Cone on your head. You're like, this guy doesn't want to be filmed because he
doesn't want any attention at all.
He doesn't want attention, so put him in a traffic cone. Dude, I am with you, right? I actually had a job last year, and it was to film an event. And I think that GDPR thing comes down to public events. If you own or control the premises and it's a ticket-only event, you can put up a sign like that from what I gathered. But I was asked to do a job, and it was actually quite a cool job. It was like a Twilight Market thing here, and it was going to be really good fun. And I was like, yeah, cool. Now we went through, and then they said, all right, also we have to abide by GDPR rules. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, what process are you running by that? And they were like, can you budget in for an assistant to come with you? And every person you film, you need to get them to sign a release form. And I just went, all right, thanks. Nah. I just was like, I don't want to do that job. I was like, I'm not, that's not me. If the minute I have to, because you know what's going to happen, you're going to see something happen. You're going to go, oh, film them. And then as you film, you're going to say to your assistant, could you just pop on over to that couple there, get them to sign it? And as they go, which couple, as they say which couple, you've pointed the camera somewhere else. And then, but you've missed all the fun stuff. So I just thought, no, it's not for me. I'm not. That's taking the fun. That becomes no longer creative, and it becomes pros. It's like a visual spreadsheet.
The other thing as well, which I find very frustrating about it, because remember this happened with us on that job we did. Yeah. Remember we had to go around and get all the forms, and they had to give descriptions of what the people looked like and all this nonsense. And you're right. It's just like it rips the fun, and B, it rips the spontaneity out of what you're getting. Yeah. And I think basically if you go to a venue. And there should be signs up saying you're going to be filmed, but if and basically that's tough. Because I think
if it's a ticket event, I think if you've paid a ticket event, you should be told at the time of purchasing the ticket, this event will be filmed. If you have any issues with that, slide directly on.
But you see, then you're getting into the territory of like, so I'm not allowed to, like, say, I don't know, you're going to see Pearl Jam or something, like a gig. And you're like, well, I really want to go and see Pearl Jam. So what you're telling me is I'm not allowed to see my favourite band unless I'm okay with being filmed.
I think that's fine.
If you know what I mean. No, I think it's fine too. Personally, but at the same time,
I think that's fine. I mean, because I've gone into things and they go, "Are you okay with this being filmed?" And we go, "Yeah."
Like, where do you want me to stand?
What do I have to do? Can I take my clothes off? Or am I? Do you want you're asking? Is it okay if you just film me wearing the clothing that I'm here in, just doing the thing that I'm here to do? Yeah, that is totally fine.
See, I think it's very different when you have a camera. And like, say you're going to do an event and then you're walking around the hotel, opening up people's bedroom doors and shoving your camera and going, all right, guys, just filming.
Yeah, guys, wake up for breakfast. I'm going to follow you down. But also, I think it also comes down to like videographers, because there are some creepy ass videographers and photographers about. And it's very hard. People, especially now where everyone shoots natural light, there's a lot of that. Like, there's a difference between being discreet, being like a discreet wedding photographer, and then just being plain old creepy. And I've seen people just creeping about with cameras, and you're like, you have to, and this is where personal skill, like relatability and being able to talk to people comes into it. Because then you can actually approach them and go, hey guys, what's happening? I'm Dylan. I'm here filming the event. Are you having a good time? Do you mind if I film a bit of you guys? And then if they go, no, you go, no problem, and walk off. But if you just creep out from behind a van, and then just creep off again, someone's like, what is that? psychopath doing?
That's why it's also good, I think, as well, to actually have quite a bit of gear.
Yeah.
Because it gives the illusion.
Yeah.
Like when you turn up and there's a couple of you and you've got a reasonably big camera, maybe a boom microphone and everything, in people's heads it's like, oh, they must be doing this for TV.
Yeah, yeah.
And do you want to know the best thing to do? And this, technically, as a drone pilot, you should, in theory, be wearing fluorescent gear. But if you are ever filming anything and you're worried about people asking questions, just put a fluorescent jacket on, and all of a sudden, everyone's okay with everything.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a fluorescent jacket on. Oh,
Totally.
he must be professional.
Yeah.
It's like,
and if
really,
you're
you can buy
outside,
them for £6 on Amazon.
Yeah, if you're outside, bring a traffic cone. Just put it down, stand next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got
it's
this,
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, those sorts of things they just get you right through it. And I think it is.
But if you're dressed all in black with a balaclava on, with a little Canon M50, going,
yeah, with
you're in trouble.
Just in your socks, running around your tiptoes in the shadow.
With socks and those little slider shoes on.
Yeah, the only things people can see is the red light of the camera just blinking every now and then as you just disappear.
Yeah.
Did that guy just take a photo of me? Because I've had people before be like, "Are you taking photos?" I mean, that job, Ryan and I did a job before. We've done quite a bunch of different jobs together, but one job we like legitimately, the part of the brief was film groups of people enjoying themselves, but make sure you get everyone's signature. And the amount of times we went up to people who were just like, and sometimes you would go up and they would be totally like normal looking folks, and you would ask them and they'd be like, "Oh, no thanks, not for us." And you're like, "Oh, right, what were you about to do? A line of coke?" And like, seriously, you're just here enjoying yourselves. Can we not film you? No. And you're like, so I always go like, whenever I approach people, I'm always like, do us a favor, I'm here getting paid to film this. Will you make my life easier? And I'll make your life easy. If you let me film you, I'll not make you look like a dick. You know?
Yeah.
Sometimes like that works, especially with groups of lads. They're like, all right, lad, go on ahead. But then the problem is, there's a lot of people that do make you look like a dick, and that's the issue. You're like, cheers, photographer, for taking a photo of me like this.
Yeah.
My chin disappeared into my throat.
But that's the thing, is that the more of a dick you are to me, the more chance there is of me just putting you in looking like a dick.
I love how we both approached that completely different directions. I was like, make my life easy, I'll not make you look like a dick. You went, make my life difficult, I will make you look like a dick. Half full, half empty situation.
I don't even have a glass most of the time.
No, well, if you did, you'd be like,
I'd throw it at someone.
Yeah.
This glass is empty. Yeah. In your face. It's interesting, isn't it? It's but
so there you are.
I mean, that job was funny as well, because that was quite a weird one. Because there were like groups of lads there, and they're like, "No, we're on a stag do," and we were like, "Okay, fine."
In fact, wasn't part of it like they actually said to us? What was part? One of them was like, you can't just film groups of people necking off with each other, because they might be necking off with someone who they're not supposed to be. Or you're like, oh, that's expected. Yeah. All right, gotcha.
Yeah.
And that was actually a great tip, though, because we're like, at least we know now. Yeah. Don't film people getting stuck into each other.
It was interesting, though, because it's like, I just think it's how everyone's so aware of cameras now. Like, because everyone has an iPhone, so everyone's a videographer now, or a photographer, or videographer. And, and so... But then when it comes to things like that, people become, it's almost like all that awareness just disappears.
Yeah.
Like, it's like we're filming, it's like, yeah, but don't understand this is going to be edited. We're not going to put that part in.
Yeah.
You know, where you dropped your trousers.
Yeah, but when you threw up on your own chest, that one probably won't make the cut.
But then like you were saying, it's like I have trouble explaining context.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, why are you being so freaking stupid? Of course I'm not going to put that in. Where they're like, why are you filming me throwing up on myself?
Yeah.
I want to punch you. And I'm like, I don't understand. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Whereas I naturally will explain this to people. When I have my professional head on, I'm actually quite understanding, and I have a lot of time for people. Inside, I'm fully flame. Just
actually, generally, I'm very good with that. But that particular situation, because what we were doing, there was a window of opportunity where it was really good to film. Either side of that, there was a good chance of you getting your head kicked in.
Yeah, basically, we're at an event where people were drinking, right? And it was a very long event over multiple days. and
Yeah.
people were sober during the day, and they were still a little bit fragile from the day before, and when they
Not
saw
in
you
the
with the
mood.
camera, they
Not
were
in the
like,
mood.
not for me, mate. But then they would start drinking, and then there'd be this small window of opportunity where they went from no thanks to hey,
In a nice
oi,
way.
camera guy, film me, and they were like, oh, and then they went from to fuck off, and then they were like, oh, you filming? So yeah, it was very. We were like, oh, get up now, get all the shots, and then you were just like, after that, you just back off, because we had a couple of run-ins with some guys because some sketchy characters. But that is always
and it can
hilarious.
change on a whim, because they start off like it's really nice, and then you go, they'll tell you a joke, and then you go along with that joke, sort of like teasing them back, and all of a sudden you go, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Because you think you're going along with the joke, and it just turns.
And then
they get this look in their eye. They get crazy eye. And you're like, oh god, you've had one Stella too many.
Yeah, and that's why I don't do event stuff. Like when I first went out on my own a few years ago, I did events. I don't do events anymore. Like with people, and I get asked to do them, and I normally just refer them to other people. Because I'm just like, I just don't, that's not me. I'm not interested in that. It'll be very particular events if I'm going to film it. It'll have to be a very particular thing. But if it's like a nightclub stuff, no thank you.
No,
There's guys that are
wouldn't do
good at that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you go to those guys, because that is
The
not
thing
for
is
me.
as well,
I have not got the patience.
I'll be honest, I don't really like staying up that long.
No.
And it's the crowd as well. I don't mind doing corporate events. Like every year we go and do this thing with IATA, which is International Air Travel Association. It's not happening this year, obviously, or it's been pushed back. But it's really cool because you get to go and you get to do interviews with CEOs of airlines. You get to find out about the industry. There's a whole load of stuff going on behind the scenes you're just not aware of, like in the airline industry, that they don't talk about.
Yeah.
Like they spend billions on like trying to make the world a greener place, but that's never in the news.
Yeah.
You know, because they're all evil. And it's just like, it's really interesting. You meet a whole bunch of really interesting people, and it's really cool. But then I'd rather do that than like a good 12, 14-hour day of interviewing people like that who are generally pretty cool and groovy and just really experienced in what they're talking about, than go and do a nightclub thing. Because I don't want to be up that late. It's music's loud.
Yeah, sorry, you're right. When I was saying events, that's what I was referring to. Like short, loud music, drink. Normally, like I say drink events, but we shoot this wine event a couple of times each year together, and it's incredible because it's just like it's such a different
exactly
world,
the same thing.
and it's very interesting. And I'm interested in wine, so I love being there. The people are cool, the guests are cool, the experience is good. So you kind of get involved in it, but I guess maybe it's more just like shooting stuff that you're not interested in. Do you know when you're like, you ever been when you shoot a job and you're trying to film it or photograph it, and you just in the middle of doing it, you're like, I just don't care about any of this. And I find that really difficult when you're like, you get the point where you want to say, this isn't worth it, guys. This is this.
Well,
like,
you know
I'm
what's
over it.
interesting is that I've done a lot of corporate jobs, and what's really interesting is when you find the people where they claim to be passionate about what they do, and they're clearly not.
Yeah.
Like I did this one where this guy made boxes. Like this company made cardboard boxes that people would ship stuff out to. He freaking loved it.
Yeah.
If ever there were a guy that knew anything about cardboard boxes, the size, the weight, the density. Oh, jeez, what's going on there? Sorry, I'm just burping everywhere.
Oh.
He knew everything, and he loved it. And you could tell, like, I was sitting there, we were watching, go, I think I quite like boxes now.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
And then there's other times when they go, oh, just, can you get Dave to go and do the interview? Because I don't really want to do it. And they go, yeah, well, we get in the morning, and then we put the stuff onto the fitting line, and you're like, God, you hate working here, don't you? Yeah. It's like you make glue.
Yeah,
I can understand.
And you clearly
why
sniff a lot of
you
it.
probably sniff a lot of it. Actually, that was true. I did a job on that, and in order to film, we were doing an interview, and we had to. It was in this glue part where they're testing it, and we're doing the interview. But there was the extractor fan was so loud, we had to turn it off briefly to do the interview in this room. And we forgot to turn it back on. And me and the other camera guy, you've met him, Mike.
Yeah.
We were in there for about an hour. We were high as kites when we came out.
Yeah,
we
I can
came out,
imagine.
and the sound guy and Sally were there, and we were like, yeah, we've just been filming. It's amazing. This guy's amazing. It's so good. And they were like, what have you been doing? It's like, oh, we've just been in that room. And they were like, that room where they turned off all the aircon and they had the glue in. We were like, it was amazing.
Yeah. And where are your trousers?
Yeah,
we took them off. They're on our
we
heads.
were buzzing, man. It was so funny.
That is
anyway.
hard, that when because I've studied a bit before, and part of it was filming guys spray, like like lacquering wood, and I had to get in there and film and not get covered in it, and it was in there for like 15 minutes and I could feel it. So I can't imagine what it's like being in a glue factory.
We didn't notice. We were.
Yeah, in fact, you felt better at the end of it.
Yeah, we're like, this shoot was amazing.
Yeah, that is quite funny. That. Anyway, we have harped on. There you go. We're on to 35 minutes. This is episode 41.
I got 35 minutes in.
This has been good.
41. We're totally reaching 50,
on
guys.
our way to
There's no way we're coming out of lockdown.
Do you know when you think to yourself, wow, what an insane amount of podcasts to have done in a row. 50.
Yeah.
Daily Talk Show hit 700 yesterday. 700 episodes in a row.
Jeez.
Fair play to those guys.
We need to start doing 2 a day.
Yeah, if you haven't checked those guys out, by the way, the kings of the daily podcast, without a doubt. Aussie based dudes, the Daily Talk Show. Just go and give them a listen. Show's great. But yeah, thanks for listening to this load of nonsense. And I guess we'll catch you guys tomorrow.
We will.
Do you wanna...
what day is it today?
It's Sunday there. It's Monday for these folks. It's Sunday for us.
Yeah.
So.
So anyway,
we've really ended on a low. Thanks for watching. Catch you tomorrow. Peace.
Peace. What is this? Are you doing the peace sign?
It's doing the peace sign. Anything to stop saluting. See ya, pals.
Okay.
I can't do the salute. It just does my tits in.
And finish.
Okay.
Oh my god! I just did a gun sign.